Hello, this video is created for those preparing to take the IELTS speaking test. There are two videos available, a self-test video and a video with answers provided. We wish you the best of luck with your IELTS exam preparation. Do you or your friends like using social media? Yes, I do like using social media. Since my college years, I have been an active social media user. My primary reason for using social media at the time was to connect and follow friends. In addition, I like to follow people whose interests, hobbies, fashion, or everyday lifestyles are interesting. For example, my friends and I often share new music, YouTube video clips, news, memes, and our own Insta posts with each other. Using social media has become a part of our daily social lives and how we interact and even stay connected. Do you think you and your friends use too much social media? Yes. While I can't say that all of my friends use social media too much, I can say that we do use social media frequently. Being a part of the millennial generation, as well as the social media era, all young adults use, browse, watch, or connect with their fellow peers, friends, and family through social media. I myself use social media to connect with my friends and family, and vice versa. My friends also use social media to connect with me as well as their families too. Do you want to work in social media? It would be a great opportunity to work for a social media company or even spend time learning more about the industry itself. Since I use social media daily, I am always curious about how the website as well as social media tools made for the website are actually created. I'm also curious about the work life of employees at social media companies. What's the most popular social media in your country? Instagram has become the most popular social media platform in the US. However, sometimes people forget that Instagram is owned by Facebook or Meta, which also remains a popular social media platform in the US. Since these platforms are owned and managed under Meta, they are both equally popular. However, my friends and family use Instagram more than Facebook. A few years ago, when I lived in an apartment complex, I was able to meet lots of neighbors. Since I raise a pet dog, I got to meet many fellow pet owners and neighbors when riding on the elevators. One of my neighbors was a middle-aged woman who lived alone and was raising 3 dogs. I later found out that she enjoyed adopting dogs to help save them from kill shelters. She was very nice, and I enjoyed going on evening dog walks with her around our apartment building. It was nice to have the opportunity to meet her, as I soon learned that she had been living in our apartment building and area for 30 years. So she knew where everything was, and she also knew many other residents. Whenever I had a question about the area or places I could visit that were also pet-friendly, I would feel comfortable asking her. Do you think people are familiar with their neighbors? Yes, people usually are familiar with their neighbors. Nowadays, many people reside or live in metropolitan areas. Due to this, they reside in areas with many people who are also their neighbors. Oftentimes, an individual will get to know their neighbors and also become familiar with them. It is not necessary to become familiar with neighbors, but I believe many or most people like to get to know the people who live next to or around them. It is a great way to make not only a new friend, but also to get to meet new people where you live. How can people improve the relationship with neighbors in a community? By being kind and by helping out. These are two ways that people can help in improving and building friendly relationships with their neighbors and in their local residential communities. Back home in my neighborhood, whenever it snows, my neighbors knock on each other's doors to ask if anyone needs help shoveling snow. My neighbors don't just do this during winter, but anytime there is a storm coming. One time, a tree fell on part of our house and also on my father's car. Many of my neighbors came with chainsaws and helped cut down the tree. It was really nice of my neighbors to come together and help my family. So I think that being kind and helping out are great ways to build friendly relationships among neighbors. How do children build relationships with others in a community? Children can build relationships with other children by meeting and playing with other children. Some ways that my sister and I made new friends in our neighborhood was by going to the park or local playground. There, we would meet other children who also lived in the area, and we would play together. If we liked playing with each other, then we would try to meet every weekend or after school and play together. This was how I met some of my childhood friends and built new relationships in my community. Another way to build relationships would be for parents to have their children join local sport teams or take part in local events that are geared for children. Is it beneficial to get along well with neighbors? Yes, there are so many benefits from getting along with one's neighbor. One major benefit, I think, would be always being able to call on your neighbor to help you or even watch over your home. For example, if you have a good relationship with your neighbor, then you can feel comfortable to ask your neighbor for help if or when needed. When I was little, a storm came and a fallen tree damaged my family house. It was my neighbor's tree that fell on our house. At that time, my neighbors all came to help cut the tree. However, our house also received damage. My neighbor offered to pay for the repairs. They did not need to, as the storm and tree accident was a natural disaster. However, receiving help from our neighbor was much appreciated. Since then, both my family and my neighbors always help each other and watch over each other's homes.